Hey, I want to have a discussion with you about crypto, Bitcoin, altcoins, and all NFTs and all the other things. Right now, we are in one of the greatest bull markets of all time, of crypto ever. And I think it's going to keep going up. I think there's a lot left. But because money's flowing into the space, we need to learn from the past. They say a history doesn't repeat itself, but oftentimes rhymes. Well, this same type of situation happened in 2017 and 2018 when Bitcoin first blew up and went to like $20,000, and the word ICO was the hottest thing in Silicon Valley, and all the venture firms and everyone was trying to build crypto companies, blockchain companies, and money was just pouring into the space. But if you look back, I mean, that wasn't that long ago. And if you look back, you'll see that most of those ventures failed, and it was filled with scams, rug pulls, pitfalls all over the place. People lost tons of money. Some people made money, but a lot of people lost a lot of money. People lost some confidence in the space. And now is a little different. If you look at the mainstream headlines, you see the Senate is talking about crypto, right? Everyone is talking about about crypto. Publicly traded companies have crypto on their balance sheet. That went from zero a year ago to probably over 30 by the end of the year. That's significant. The industry is growing and it's establishing itself as more and more legitimate. But regulation is coming. And for good reason. People like to think, oh no, regulation is going to kill it. Regulation can actually be a good thing because there are so many projects out there that are not legit. They're just purely cash grabs that are meant to be marketed to you and take your hard-earned money to convince you that's a solid investment. And not all cryptos are the same. And you have to understand this when you say crypto, right? And if you're new, you think, oh, it's everything, but it's not. There's a distinction, and one clear distinction you should make is Bitcoin and everything else. Because, and I've talked about this before, the important thing to realize with Bitcoin is they have a philosophy. Bitcoin, first off, it was the biggest, right? It came out, it was announced 13 years ago, roughly, and then came out January 3rd, 2009. Um, so, Bitcoin, there's a philosophy in Bitcoin of HODL, hold on for dear life, and never sell your Bitcoin. A lot of the Bitcoin community and people that hold Bitcoin buy it for that reason and believe in that. And that's only been cemented over time. That belief system has been cemented in the hodlers of Bitcoin over time. And because they believe that the coin is going from $60,000 a Bitcoin to $100,000 to $200 to $500,000 to $1 million or more, not maybe next month, but over the course of the next 5, 10+ years, right? And so that creates a different mindset around who's investing, why they're putting their money in there, and what they'll do when the market goes through the inevitable corrections. But with altcoins, and I'm going to include every single other altcoin in this at this point in time, right? And you can always filter through this once you go through this analysis and you understand this. With altcoins, people are looking to offload. People are looking to put their money in to buy low and sell high, right? And the only way someone is making money in any sort of these altcoins, right? And I'll just do a disclaimer: is like, this is not financial advice. And I do hold different altcoins. I play around in that space because I think it's interesting. I think there's a lot there, but there's an incredible amount of risk. And in order for you to profit with an altcoin position, someone else has to take a loss, right? Because energy is going into the system, and then you're pulling energy out of the system. The energy is someone else's money, right? Unless they just make it from thin air, and even then, right, someone is losing. Right? If they just burn tokens or they inflate the supply and they give you more tokens, right? You have to sell them to someone else. That's just how it works, right? That's how crypto works. And so when you hear these influencers talking about all these different altcoins and all these different gains and all this kind of stuff, that's cool. But they're in it to make money, and so are you. But there are more skilled people out there that are in it to make money, that were in there before you, that have better positions, that are better positioned in the market to start taking profits and all of that. Right? So you have to know this, and you have to know that anytime you enter an altcoin position at this point in time, you have to exit that position at some point in time. So all the gains you have, or if you get gains, you have to then sell. You have to sell out of it, and then you have to go put that somewhere else. And when you sell, it's a taxable event. There's no hiding that. It is a taxable event when you sell your altcoins, and so you have to know that. And you should know that all the skilled people in the market that have been there before you, that have been there since 2013, 2009, who have been there since 2017, who have been there since even last year, year before, right? They know more than you in general, right? They might be better positioned in the market. Right? They might have higher gains so far, so they can play the market better. So you're competing against all of them, and it's a game of chicken. And so you see all these influencers pumping up all these different coins, right? Whatever they are, talking about them. They're promoting those coins because it's in their best financial interest to promote those coins. It's in their best interest for the majority of them to talk about a coin because when they talk about it, it gives media and marketing attention to it. It gives people like you watching this video more insight into it. It might make you buy it over another coin, right? A lot of these influencers are paid by these companies, by these projects to talk about those projects. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with getting paid to talk about these projects, but you need to know that they're talking about these projects because maybe they have a financial incentive to talk about those projects and not just because out of the goodness of their heart. And you have to know that they're in it to make money. And if you know their investing strategy or their crypto strategy, it might be different than yours. And so when you're just getting started out, you need to understand the difference. You need to understand the difference between a token that's legit. You need to understand the difference between a token that is purely speculative, right? There are meme tokens out there that are purely speculative. They may turn into something, but at this point in time, they aren't, right? And you are purely speculating, basically gambling on this hypothetical future. So you're accepting a ton of risk when you do that. So you have to understand that that's happening in this market and that's playing out, and that's going to play out the rest of this bull run. So my task to you is just really understand why you want to be in crypto. Really understand what reasonable things are and just be careful of being greedy. Don't get too greedy because when you're greedy, you're more susceptible to hacks, to scams, to people taking advantage of you, to making emotional or rash decisions, to not selling when you've made life-changing gains or whatnot. And you don't want that. I don't want that for you. No one wants that. So you need to really understand what you want and why and have this long-term strategy and long-term plan that you can operate unemotionally, right? Because if you don't, you're going to get wrecked because what's going to happen and what's going to happen here in the next few months, and we're going to see it. We're going to see it play out. And the reason why it's going to play out is because Bitcoin people will hold. Altcoin people will sell. They are going to sell out of their altcoins. It's going to happen. And some people who don't know or have a different strategy than you might sell other Bitcoin. I don't necessarily suggest that, at least from my beliefs and my perspective on the market, but they'll sell out of their Bitcoin and altcoin. So they're going to exit their positions. They're going to take that money and take it out of the market. And when that happens, what's going to happen to the price? The price will go down, right? Because it's going to put sell pressure on all these different coins. And it's going to happen in every single altcoin. If you look and go check out all the influencers, they're all talking about how to take your profits and how to create an exit strategy in this market. What does that mean? They're going to sell, right? They're not married to these projects. They're in it to make money. And because of that, you need to understand that that's their position and you need to adopt a similar strategy or position. Because if you don't, right, if you're just trying to hold these coins that the majority of people that are buying into them are doing just because they're speculating on the future, they want to make gains 2, 3, 4, 5, 10x gains or whatever it is, they're hoping for that. You're going to be left holding the bags. You're going to be the person that is money is fueling their gains. So you need to be very, very careful. And so I just like to bring this up because it's been on my mind. I think it's very important to understand what you're doing and why. Don't get married to any of these other altcoins or anything there, right? Be very careful because you are accepting a ton of risk. Not only just risk from competitors in the market. There's like 17 different layer one smart contract platforms, and they're all like, literally like there's been one highlighted like every 2 weeks, and then it pumps up, and then the market forgets about it. So just know that don't be married to these things because there's competition, there's regulatory risk, there's hacking risk, there's all this kind of stuff. There's market risk. Like, will it even like find a place in the market long term? And just remember, from 4 years ago, a lot of those coins and tokens and ICOs and all those things that popped up that people were so hyped up about, we aren't even talking about them today. The majority of them don't even matter. So what makes you think now is going to be different? Maybe it will, but chances are it'll be very similar to the ones before. A lot of these platforms, a lot of these things that we're talking about now, we won't be talking about in 4 years because the environment will have changed. The situation will have changed. There'll be new players that have come to market. And that's the thing with crypto. I know I'm running long on this, but that's the thing with crypto is that it's so easy to copy and paste the code from one ecosystem to another ecosystem. Copy a blockchain. If you know what you're doing, you're a developer, you can just copy one and you've seen it, right? SushiSwap, which is one of the most successful decentralized exchanges on Ethereum, was copied from Uniswap. The code was copied. They made some adjustments. They changed the branding, and boom, right? Now you have another thing, which is cool that you can do that because a lot of these projects are decentralized and open source. But what this means is there's always going to be a new shiny object. There's always going to be something better. And so when you're starting to compete on technology aspects that can be improved, just think about how much your phone has improved over the past 5 to 10 years. A lot, right? All they do, they're just doing these incremental improvements. So these are going to happen with the crypto blockchains. And so what's going to happen is as some of these blockchains, these layer one solutions, these altcoins get, get bigger, they're going to have to continue to update because someone else is going to come out with one and it's going to be faster. It's going to have lower transaction costs, more transactions. It's going to have a smoother interface, right? It's going to be easier, more intuitive to use. And so for a decentralized blockchain to then upgrade, it's a process. It's not easy because it's decentralized, right? It's not as quick as something centralized. And so the ease at which capital can flow from one blockchain to another blockchain, that is increasing. It's becoming easier and easier and easier. So in the future, what's going to happen, this is my perspective, is that okay, one will be established. Well, they'll just start a new project and then draw capital over there, get the reward rates, shift it all over there, and you're going to have this effect. So, and what that means is people are going to be selling out of one position to go to another position, and this is going to keep happening and happening and happening. So you have to pay very close attention to this and don't get too married to a lot of these altcoins and a lot of these blockchains because we're still so early on. They're trying to get a foothold. They're trying to figure out what their identity is, where they fit, and we're not going to know what's going to happen or where they will fit for 3, 4, 5 years. Like Ethereum hasn't even went to ETH 2.0. They haven't even moved to proof of stake. They're doing a fundamental change to how their network operates. And you're supposed to be able to project out into the future and know exactly what's going to happen. First off, you're assuming it's going to work. And then if it does work, how do we know what's going to happen long term for it? We don't. So you have all this hype building up to this like potential, glorious future of this platform. And I hope it does well, right? I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying, like, being realistic. If you think about it, it's like, wait, so they're doing a fundamental change to the network that we don't even know what's going to happen. That's going to then try to compete with other networks. How is that going to happen? Like, what's going to go on? And so, anyways, to conclude this is these are all the altcoins. These are all the other things, other tokens, and all that kind of stuff. It's important to understand what they are, why they're important, how they fit into the ecosystem. But it's also important to understand that everyone's going to be exiting their positions. Everyone's going to be selling these things. The only one people aren't going to be selling, right, that will have less of that downward sell pressure is Bitcoin. That's the one because it has a community. Now, I'm not saying that the price of Bitcoin won't go down at any point in time. It probably will. If history is any teacher, like I said, it's going to rhyme. Bitcoin crashed 50%, over 50%, 3, 4, 5 months ago. So it's going to happen again. It's going to go up, and it's going to come down. It's going to go up. It's going to come down. The price you pay for rapid growth is some of this volatility. But with Bitcoin, it's the only one that people are holding long term. Everything else, maybe. Probably not, because they're literally telling you when they're going to exit. How are they going to move their positions, right? So just keep that in mind. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, give me a like, comment below, subscribe to the channel. And if you want, you can go click the link in my bio to learn more about crypto, how to get started, how to get safely, securely, and to build your crypto foundation. So that's it for all today. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.